My stepfather's daughter turned the family against me while stealing his money, but when I found his private letters and safety deposit box, I pulled the ultimate Uno reverse. When I was 14, my mom left me and my stepdad Norman after he got diagnosed with early onset dementia, and I became his full-time caregiver because someone had to be, and she sure wasn't going to stick around to watch him disappear piece by piece. For 5 years, I've been sleeping on his bedroom floor, managing his medications, and dealing with his episodes where he thinks strangers are in the house at 3 in the morning. Last week, Norman's lawyer called me about updating his will, per his daughter Stephanie's request, and my blood went cold because Stephanie hasn't visited once in the 3 years since the diagnosis got even worse. I told the lawyer I'd been Norman's caregiver this whole time, and he got this weird tone and said, "Miss, you'll need to provide receipts for any care expenses if you want reimbursement," like I was some kind of hired help trying to scam the family. That same day, I was helping Norman with his medications when he had one of his lucid moments and asked me what happened to my college applications. I deflected like always, because how do you tell someone you love that you gave up your entire future to take care of them? Then I noticed something strange on the kitchen counter. Norman had left out a bank withdrawal slip for $800 cash from last month, and when I asked him about it during his next clear moment, he looked confused and said Stephanie told him he needed to help with her school expenses. My heart sank because I realized she had been visiting during my grocery runs and manipulating him for money. I hadn't spoken to her in years, but I knew she was in graduate school somewhere, so I created a fake social media account to see what she was posting. What I found made me sick. Her LinkedIn profile listed her current position as full-time caregiver for her father with dementia, and she had photos with Norman from years ago, with captions about just finishing his physical therapy session and how much he was improving under her care. There was a GoFundMe page titled "Help Me Care for My Dad," with $15,000 raised. All the photos were old ones of her and Norman from before I even knew them. I felt nauseous reading the comments from people praising her devotion and sacrifice. I tried calling Stephanie, but she immediately got defensive, asking who I thought I was, and saying she was his daughter, and handled all his care decisions before hanging up on me. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I checked our cheap security camera footage that I had bought to monitor Norman when he wandered, and found clips of Stephanie coming into the house during the times I ran errands twice a week. She would wait for me to leave, then stay for about 20 minutes. All of these visits always happened right before Norman's worst confusion episodes. I started writing down everything because something felt horribly wrong. During Norman's next lucid moment, I asked him about Stephanie, and his face got agitated, and he said she visits all the time and brings special vitamins that help his memory, and asked why I was trying to confuse him. I realized she had been giving him something during his confused states, and telling him I was the one making him sicker. 3 days later, Aunt Marie called me furious, saying Stephanie told the family I had been stealing Norman's medication money and isolating him from everyone who cared. I tried to explain that I had been his only caregiver for years, but Marie cut me off saying Stephanie would never lie about caring for her father, and that maybe it was time I found my own place. The next morning, the lawyer called again and informed me that Stephanie was petitioning for guardianship, and I had no legal standing despite 5 years of caregiving because I wasn't blood family, and had no official caregiver documentation. My world was falling apart, and I realized Stephanie had been systematically turning everyone against me. I knew she wouldn't care for him properly, so I called Adult Protective Services, but when I tried to explain the situation, they said they would need to investigate both caregivers, and that the process could take weeks or months. The caseworker warned me that making false accusations could result in me being removed from the home immediately. Yesterday, Stephanie showed up with a locksmith, saying she was changing the locks for Norman's safety, and that I needed to pack my things because she was moving in to provide proper care. I was secretly recording this on my phone when Norman shuffled into the room looking confused, and saw Stephanie directing the locksmith. He turned to me with clear eyes for just a moment, and asked me who Stephanie was,